Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to seek a clarification from the member, Mr. Peng. Mr. Peng had compared the AGO's report of its audit on AHPETC to the findings that the AGO makes during its annual audits of government agencies. But I'd like to ask, in relation to the conclusion that it drew to AHPETC's audit, and I quote from its report, that the AGO concluded that unless the weaknesses are addressed, there can be no assurance that AHPETC's financial statements are accurate and reliable, and that public funds are properly spent, accounted for, and managed. I would like to seek a clarification from the member whether he is aware of any other audit conducted by the AGO of a government ministry, statutory board, or agency that has drawn a similar conclusion.
I have drawn an example of AGO reports because I read them every year. Okay? It's not meant to be a comparison with AHPETC's AGO report. I have mentioned at the final part, it's not meant as a comparison, but it's meant as that such lapses do exist, which I mentioned that good corporate governance is a work in progress. So we have accepted the AGO report. We've accepted it, and Mr. Lau Tia Kiang has already stated at the beginning of his speech that we support the motion.
Mrs. Josephine, do you? Madam Speaker, unless I'm completely mistaken, sitting right opposite Mr. Peng when he was speaking, he said something to the effect that in any other report made by the AGO, it would not attract the same level of scrutiny. That is the effect of what he was saying. And so I seek this very specific clarification. I think it's an important clarification because the audits that the AGO conducts of ministries and statutory boards is something that is done every single year. The report is tabled to Parliament. And every ministry or statutory board that has findings has to account for it. And when in the past, as a member of the backbench, I had been seated in the Public Accounts Committee, I can share with you very honestly and very certainly that ministries and statutory boards, when they respond to queries, take a very different attitude and reply to the PAC in a very different tone than the tone that is reflected in the AHPETC's comments to the AGO. So I wanted to seek this clarification because Mr. Peng, it seems to me, has suggested that the ministries and stat boards have the same problems. But the conclusion drawn by the AGO is a very specific one. It says that unless the weaknesses are addressed, there can be no assurance that AHPETC's financial statements are accurate and reliable, and that public funds are properly spent, accounted for, and managed. So I'd like to know whether Mr. Peng is aware of any other occasion that the AGO has drawn the same conclusion for a government ministry or statutory board. That is a very important point. Since you raised this point, I hope you will clarify it.
The AGO report presented to Parliament doesn't have all those conclusions stated there. If you read the AGO report presented every year, it's all stated there. Yeah, there's no conclusion for those cases that AGO cited. Some of them, they will say, oh, we'll refer the thing to police for investigations, and they say, oh, we'll take remedy. So likewise, the Workers' Party has said, we have taken measures. I think yesterday Ms. Sylvia Lim has highlighted those measures, what we've done. So the conclusion that AHPETC got from AGO It's there, it's unique, yes. We accepted it. Yeah. But those examples that I cited are things that AGO picked out too. Isn't that real? Are those not real instances where lapses happen too? I'm not saying that because AHPETC was tabled in Parliament, but I'm just citing that AGO work is thorough, fair, and I respect it.